Good evening. Hope everybody's feeling good because I am feeling great. And in case you're wondering, you are in the kitchen with Sherwin. So for lunch today, we had some leftover spaghetti. And I paired that spaghetti with some good old Mexican cornbread in my cast iron skillet. And after we got full, happy, and satisfied, we had to clean the kitchen. Guess who that was? Not we, but me. So after I finished all the minor dishes like the plates, the silverware, and the cups, I still had to deal with that cast iron skillet. For those of y'all who cook with cast iron skillets, you know it's a blessing. But when it comes to cleaning it, sometimes it can be a curse. So for the purpose of this video here today, I want to share with you some of the techniques or tips that I found beneficial for me to actually get that cast iron skillet clean, and I want to share them with you. So kick back, relax, and hopefully you can pick up a tip or two. Stay tuned. All right. So, like any project or meal that you're trying to prepare, or house you're trying to build, or car you're trying to fix, you need some tools, you need equipment, you need some materials. So for this particular project of cleaning my cast iron skillet, these are the items that I will be using for this video. On your right there, you got a wood spatula. You got 1 cup of water. You got some coarse kosher salt, which is a tablespoon. And you have a sponge and white paper towel. And the star of the show is that black cast iron skillet with cornbread crumbs. All right. Let's start cleaning. Alright, so we got our setup here. And of course I can hear my mom saying right now, son, as you're cooking, clean as you go. Clean as you go. So you won't be the last one up all night cleaning all the dishes. Alright, I hear that. But hey, you cannot clean as you go with this cast iron skillet. You gotta put it to the side and get everything else ready so everybody can eat. So when you return back to the cast iron skillet, hopefully it is warm to the touch, if not, room temperature. You don't want it to be ice cold, but you do want to get back to it as soon as possible. Hopefully not tomorrow, but somewhere soon after your meal. All right, so if it's not warm to the touch, you want to, of course, clean out the debris. It may have been, bread from breadcrumbs, or the remains of the meat from fish or beef or pork, or even some eggs. Well, we got to get all that out of there. So we got to get the breadcrumbs out, and then we'll be pouring this 1 cup of water inside of the skillet, and you have to bring the burner up to temp on a medium heat where it's boiling. And then after it's boiling, take a spatula, start scrubbing. So, I'm gonna get that set up, we'll be right back. All right, she's boiling now. So one thing I wanna share with you is that when you have a cold cast iron skillet, because you decide to clean it the next day, and add hot water to it, it's a possibility you may crack the cast iron skillet. That's why I suggested that you clean the cast iron skillet as soon as you get through using it, where it's all, warm to the touch. It's not warm to the touch, just room temperature. It's the technique that I use, which is putting a cup of water inside, turning up the burner to medium high heat, and bring that water up to a boil slowly. Once you see it bubbling like this, we're going to start the first stage. First stage is the deglazing stage, removing and dissolving any kind of residue that's in the bottom of the skillet. It's a cooking technique that most chefs use. So the second stage is going to be salt. The third stage is going to be seasoning. So what's the first stage? Deglazing. Second stage, salt. third stage, seasoning. Those 3 words. First step here, deglazing. So with deglazing, all you want to do is just take your wooden spatula and you just scrub those bits and pieces, as most kitchens like to refer to them as. That's where you get your flavor at. But here, we're not concerned about flavor, we're concerned about cleaning. So you just scrub, scrub, scrub until you feel that it is clean by sight. And of course, you don't have any bits that you're bumping into anymore. And if you did some baking like I did, of course, you may have some bits of crumbs on the side of the skillet. And you want to get to the side as well. I love this wooden spatula. Works a lot better than a stainless steel spatula, of course, because you'll scrape up the black off your skillet. And of course, you don't want to use plastic because this water is hot. And you may warp your plastic spatula. So wood has always been the tool of choice. All right, I think we got this done here. And yeah, we are through with the glazing step. Now what you want to do is make sure your spatula is safely secure. Turn the burner off. We get ready to transfer the skillet over to the sink, pour it out, and start the salt stage. So stay tuned. All right, we're here at the sink, and as you know, we already covered step 1, which was the deglazing. Now here is step 2, the salt. All right, so the skillet is a little hot, that's why I have my dish rag. And I want you to notice that I have a black dish towel in my sink to protect the sink. So you may want to consider that, because this is a cast iron skillet, okay? So iron can scratch, can bend, or disfigure your sink. So protect your sink with a towel here on the divider, as well as the interior. So I'm gonna pour out the contents there. The water, the bacon bits, eggs, scraps, breadcrumbs, whatever it was. All right, so now, you know, it's definitely a lot smoother than it was when it was on the stove. So now I'm taking my tablespoon of coarse kosher salt. That's what this is right here. Coarse kosher salt. All right, so tablespoon. After several times of using this, you won't have to actually measure a tablespoon. So the interior of the skillet is already wet. Don't need to have any more water added to the skillet. This is all you need. So the salt, of course, along with the towel, is going to act as an abrasive agent, which is going to pick up the moistness in the interior of the skillet, as well as break up the bits, the breadcrumbs, the egg scraps, or any kind of meat products that you burn or char on the interior skillet. Just keep on going and get you a clean side of the top, the paper towel, and continue the process until you pick up all the moisture, as well as you don't see any more bacon bits or residue. All right, so right now what we want to do is rinse it out. Okay, there we go, a whole lot cleaner, but we're not finished. And we're at the stove. Okay, so I didn't mention earlier because I didn't need it. The purpose of this sponge is if you need a round 2 of cleaning out the interior of the skillet. If the paper towel couldn't do it with the salt, then round 2, put a little more salt in and use the soft side of the sponge. Okay, there you go. So Now, let's get this out of my shot. So now what we want to do is take your damp dish towel and you want to wipe off any type of moisture that you may see from rinsing off and rinsing out the skillet. We don't want moisture. Steel doesn't like moisture. What does it turn into? Black steel turns into rust if it's moisture sitting on it and put away, stored away with dampness. Never leave a skillet with moisture on it. And of course the last step is seasoning. Number 1, deglazing. Number 2, the salt. Number 3, seasoning. So what do I mean by seasoning? You want to reapply some oil-based substance, and I'm using cooking oil. My cooking oil of choice for this project is olive oil. So I place the skillet back on a burner. Burner is on medium heat. The temperature is rising. I feel it on my hand that's hovering over the skillet. Now I pour a tablespoon olive oil in the interior of the skillet. Of course, I'm using this measuring device just to show you what a tablespoon is, but in the future, you know, just eyeball it. All right, so now what I want to do is take my white paper towel with a warm skillet on the inside, and I want to just, you know, oil it down. Moisturize it. Like you wake up in the morning and wash your face and put moisturizer on your face. Well, we're moisturizing our black cast iron skillet. Not only do you want to do the inside, you want to do the outside too. You want to protect it with this moisturizer. Right. Get the neck of the handle, and you don't want to leave any excess moisturizer in there. A tablespoon was definitely enough for this medium-sized skillet. And there you have it. A clean cast iron skillet. Notice my burner is red hot. Well, when you're finished, you want to take that skillet, put it on a coal burner. You don't want to leave it on a hot burner, because that oil that's in that skillet, you turn your back on it, even though you turn the burner off, now you're cooking the oil that's in the skillet. You don't want to do that. All right, so there you have it. A clean cast iron skillet that's ready to be stored away.